Did you know that you could make hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars by partnering with brands online? Did you know that one of the rising areas as a content creator is being a micro influencer? And actually, a recent article came out that said in the year 2022, it's an estimated that micro influencers will make $16.4 billion by partnering with brands online. If you are like me and you're seeing that number and are thinking, I would like a piece of that $16.4 billion, then this exclusive training is the right opportunity for you. I'm excited to bring a special guest here to our inner circle. If you're watching live on YouTube right now, we are streaming one of our exclusive online membership programs to you so you can get a taste of what it's like inside of our Think Media membership called Inner Circle. Now, today's special guest is Justin Moore. And let me just tell you a little bit about now, Justin is a sponsorship coach and the founder of Creator Wizard, a school and community that teaches you how to find and negotiate, very key, your dream brand deals so that you stop leaving thousands on the table. Along with his wife, April, he has been a full-time content creator for over 7 years, and his personality, and he has personally made over $3 million working with brands because of his personality also, as you'll see. He has also run an influencer marketing agency for over 5 years that has helped other creators earn an additional $2 million. Justin brings a very unique perspective because not only has he been a creator in the trenches with us, just like you and me, doing sponsorships for years, but by also running an agency and getting a larger landscape of the entire industry. He is insider knowledge behind how big brands choose their influencers that they want to partner with. He's going to be sharing those secrets with you today. And he also can help you learn when to pass up deals. I know that sounds hard, but we're going to share why that's important today as well. Justin's mission is to enable creators big and small to land $1 million in paid brands partnerships by 2032. And I am so excited to have him here in our inner circle today to teach you in our community as well as here on YouTube. So make sure you like that, like the YouTube video, and let's bring on Justin. Justin, how you doing?
What's going on, Heather? I'm stoked to be here. I'm bringing the energy on Thursday. It's going to be a blast. I love talking about sponsorships, and by the end of this session, your mind is going to be blown because you will be ready to go and pitch your dream brand.
It's so exciting. I will have to admit, can I make a confession real quick, Justin?
Please,
can I confess?
let's do it.
Okay. At first, when we started Think Media, I was like anti-brand deals. I was like, why do we need to work with other people? We can make our own content. Let's just buy the things. Oh, it's such a headache to work with people. And then the veil was up, and I was like, oh my goodness, we started working with brands and we were partnering with some incredible people, and the dollars started to roll in. And because of brand deals, we've been able to make multiple 7 figures in our company, which has afforded us the opportunity to build a team, to save money in our business, to give generously to places that we love. And it's just an incredible experience to partner with other companies, share what they're doing, but also share that uniquely with your own audience. So I will say I am a believer in brand deals. And I know that you've worked with creators like me who have been resistant to it, but then actually see that there's a benefit on the other side.
Well, you know what? We're going to get into that today. And honestly, it is a big mindset shift because, when you go from thinking like, oh, working with brands is such a pain in the butt, to this is actually going to be a win-win-win. Yeah, I'm going to get some money, which is great. But, this brand, is going to be a great collaboration for them. They're going to be very happy. But that third piece, which is often missing, is that my audience is going to get so much out of this. They're going to find out about a product or a service or a software solution that helps take their business to the next level, or it helps them in their personal life. So that mindset shift is really critical, and I'm stoked to talk about that today.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave the floor to you, and I'm excited. We will do Q&A after this. So if you have any questions, make sure that you post them inside of the chat. I will star them, and then I'll come back on, Justin, and we'll get to a Q&A part.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. So thanks so much, everyone. Again, my name is Justin Moore, and we're going to be talking all about how to craft a sponsorship pitch that no brand will ignore. Okay. Let me know. Drop it in the chat if you're excited about this. Let me know your questions. We're going to be talking about it at the end of this. But let me start by sharing an email that my wife April and I received a few years ago. It said, "Hey, Justin, great news. We're approved to move forward with our Harmony of the Seas opportunity. We're excited to have you on board our Barcelona ship sailing June 5th to the 7th. And our launch sail in November in Fort Lauderdale to explore the newest ship to the Royal Caribbean family." Now, we're talking 18 decks, 15 restaurants, a crew of 2,100 people to run it. And there is one person, by the way, whose entire job is to sharpen the ice skates for the ice rink. Oh, and one more thing. The ultimate abyss, a 10-story water slide. Now, for my wife April and I, this was an absolute dream sponsorship. They were flying us to Spain to check out their new ship. And you're probably thinking, well, how the heck did you get that opportunity? Well, in order to tell you that story and to teach you how to get opportunities like that, we have to go back to the beginning. Because when I started out pitching brands as a creator, I sent messages that looked like this. Right? Drop it in the chat. Have you ever sent a pitch like that? Oh, I love your brand. Want to collaborate? Right? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, right? This is a safe space, so it's okay. It's all right, okay? So back in 2009, when we first started on YouTube, influencer marketing, quote unquote, that was not a thing, right? And just as a quick reminder of what was happening in the world in 2009, okay? The most popular phone in the world was the iPhone 3G, okay? Which you could use to call your friends to ask them what time you were going to the theater to see the brand new movie Avatar. And then when you got home from the movie, you'd boot up your computer to watch the most popular YouTubers in the world, Ryan Higa, Smosh, and Fred. Drop it in the chat. Anyone remember? Anyone watch these? Watch these guys back in the day, right? This was early YouTube. Okay, and even though I had an incredibly promising career as a makeup artist after doing the boyfriend does my makeup challenge, right? That looks pretty decent, right? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Makeup artist? Maybe not. Right? I begged and I pleaded with my wife April, and I said, or at the time she was my girlfriend, fiance, and I said, let me get us some discounts for our honeymoon. We had around 29,000 subscribers on YouTube at that time, but I was convinced that someone would see the value in giving us free stuff in exchange for promo on our channel. April was pretty skeptical, but, bless her heart, she basically said, knock yourself out, right? And so this is a dramatic reenactment of me in my cubicle. This is not me, but, I had a 9-to-5 job, right? And I was emailing hundreds of hotels in Thailand, which is where we wanted to go. And when I say hundreds, I mean hundreds, okay? And I was feeling pretty good about my chances, right? I mean, someone is going to jump at this marketing/business opportunity, right? I look back on these emails and I just laugh because it's just like the wording I use is just so funny to me. But it was a rude awakening when, honestly, at that time, a bunch of my messages got sent back as undeliverable, right? To add insult to injury, when I actually did get a response, it was no thanks, not interested. Or actually, honestly, the worst of all, the salt is just rubbing in my wounds, was just the crickets, right? Look, come on, at least respond and tell me no, right? So by the end of that week, things were not going well. But then something interesting happened. A hotel called Paradise Koh Yao in Phuket, Thailand, responded. They'd give us the romantic candlelight dinner under the palms, the spa treatment for lovers, and my personal favorite, the tropical island picnic, even though the beach was kind of dirty. And all we had to do was make one YouTube video about it, right? Ooh, right? So here we were thinking that we got the deal of a lifetime. except for one tiny little detail. For the next 6 years, that YouTube video was one of the first results whenever anyone searched on YouTube for Phuket hotels. To date, it has 578,000 views. How much do you think that was worth to the hotel? Drop it in the chat. How much do you think that was worth to the hotel? Right? A lot. And that's when we realized how much power we have as creators. And it's not just about the video views. It's about telling a real story that people connect with. Something, by the way, that brands have a very hard time doing. So after that experience, I doubled down. I was ruthless. I would pitch any brand. I would cold email anyone. And I got better at it. I developed strategies. I would test which subject lines got higher open rates, and I'd switch up my approach. And I treated it like a business, right? And one of the most interesting things I learned was that the big brands, the ones that have the big budgets, are not working with creators directly. They've hired security. That's right. It's their advertising agency, their PR agency, their influencer agency's job to protect them from things like your crappy pitch. But if you properly introduce yourself, get on the radar of them with a compelling illustration of what you can bring to the table for their client, well, the next time they have an opportunity to fly you to Spain to ride on the maiden voyage of their freaking awesome new cruise ship, they're going to think of you. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot to mention about this Royal Caribbean deal. They also paid us $20,000. Okay. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through how my wife and I have made over $3 million working with brands to date. And not only that, I'm going to share how I've helped hundreds of other creators earn millions more through an influencer marketing agency that I run. And I'm talking tactics that you can take away and start using in your creator business today to make more money. Okay, drop it in the chat. Does that sound good? Right? You ready for this? Okay, so before we get started on that, though, I can sense that there's some folks in the audience who are thinking, I'm not a lifestyle influencer, right? My content is just too niche, right? I don't have followers. No brand would ever want to work with me. This isn't going to work for me, right? Anyone thinking that? It's totally reasonable. I get it. But let me tell you quickly the story of my friend, Mike. See, a very successful major wireless carrier had approached my influencer marketing agency with a problem. They knew that their products resonated with people in the FIRE community, right? Financial independence, retirement early. Anyone familiar, right? So that their products resonated in that community, but they were struggling to find creators who were unique, who spoke to that audience. So we went out there, right? We did some digging and we found Mike. At the time, he had less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, okay? 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, okay? But do you want to know the reason that the brand got so excited about working with them? It's because Mike didn't just talk about budgeting. He talked about budgeting for active duty military. That was his niche. Let me say that again. Active duty military budgeting. So the brand was thrilled, right? They were stoked to pay him, and they didn't care at all how many followers he had. And do you want to know why? Because they turned around, they used that awesome video he made, and they ran a bunch of ads to reach other people like him. Powerful, right? See, I used to think that brand deals were unpredictable, right? They're awesome when you can get them, but you can never really rely on that income because you never know when the next opportunity is going to land in your inbox, right? And that really sucks because according to a recent study, 68% of influencers say that brand collaborations are their largest revenue stream, right? You're probably thinking, Justin, that sample size is kind of small. 526 creators, really? Okay, fine. Here is another study with a sample size of 2,000 creators, and this one says it's 77.3%, right? So wouldn't it be awesome if we could make this giant bucket of money and turn it into a predictable income source? Well, the good news is that it's predictable if you make it predictable. Okay? I've created a framework called the sponsorship wheel. By actively, consistently monitoring how many brands you are interacting with at each of these stages, you will never wonder again when and where your next brand deal will come from. And by the way, there is a reason that these steps are not listed out in a horizontal timeline. Because when you get to step 8, you have to start all over again. You got to pitch the same brand that you just worked with on your next idea. So, regardless of whether you already have inbound deal flow, meaning brands already reaching out to you, okay? If you want to create consistent income from sponsorships and keep this wheel spinning, that requires sustained pitching, which means that as creators, we all have a common enemy. And our enemy is our empty sent folder. Right? Your inbox is something that you have no control over. Whether a brand decides to reach out to you today or next week or never, that is simply out of your hands. But every single email right here in your sent folder, you have full control over and represents a new opportunity to absolutely blow a brand's mind with a unique, creative, mutually beneficial, and lucrative sponsorship proposal. So, now that I've convinced you that pitching is a worthwhile thing to do, let's talk about how to craft a killer pitch that no brand will ignore, okay? And I want to make sure you get your money's worth, okay? So I'm going to give you an excerpt from my course called Brand Deal Wizard. And this is the pitching method that I teach, okay? It's called the rope method, okay? R stands for relevant to a campaign that they're working on. O stands for organic, meaning that you can tie your pitch back to content that you've already posted, okay? P stands for persistent, meaning you email regularly even if they're not responding, which can be tough. And E is easy to execute when they say yes. So let's pretend we're pitching Starkist Tuna. Let's try out this pitch. Hi, I absolutely love your brand. I'm curious if you'd like to collaborate. Justin. What do you think the brand's reaction will be when you send them that email? Drop it in the chat. What do you think the brand's reaction is going to be when you send them that email? What do you think? Right? Oh. Right? Total snore fest. That's what every single creator says to them. Is that interesting in any way? Let's check the rope method, okay? Is this relevant to a campaign that they're working on? No, right? Does this tie back to organic content that you've already posted? No. Have you been persistent? Well, if you're sending kind of crappy pitches like that, probably not. And is this easy to execute? Well, if the brand responded and said, great, sounds great, let's do it. Well, what are you going to do? Right? You didn't propose anything. So instead, why don't we do a little research? Okay. I don't care whether you're on Instagram or not. Okay. Instagram is a research tool. Wow, interesting. Last May, Starkus was talking about Mediterranean Diet Month. Interesting. So what you're going to do instead is make an organic post about the Mediterranean diet before you pitch them. You're going to get a bunch of amazing comments, that sweet engagement, right? And then you send them this. Hey, Stacy, just wanted to follow up because I noticed that last spring, Starkus was touting the benefits of the Mediterranean diet. I have also been posting about its benefits recently, and my audience is hungry for more. Do you like that pun? I'm a big fan of puns. So, right? They're hungry for more. I would love to create an IG reel and stories showcasing Starkus recipes that fit this plan. I can shoot and post within 2 weeks. I'll give you usage rights through December 31st. What do you think, Justin? Well, let's go through the rope checklist, right? Is this relevant to a campaign that they're working on? Probably, right? See, most creators think that brands reinvent the wheel every single year with their marketing strategies, and that couldn't be further from the truth. They just kind of dust off the old, same old marketing playbook from last year, and they run it again. So honing in on a campaign that they love, they ran it after all, right? You will instantly stand out and be relevant to them. How about our organic? Well, see that blue link right there? That's where you linked your last post, that organic post you made, right? They can click through. They can see all the amazing people, all the amazing things people are saying about it, right? And they can immediately learn more about your audience. You're not linking them your channel page. They're not going to watch 15 of your videos. They're going to watch 30 seconds of one of them and be like, yep, this person is a good fit. So your organic content will convince them that you already have affinity for their brand, which is critical. Okay? How about persistent? Right? How about persistent? Well, it's kind of hard to visualize what persistence looks like, but let's just say that when you put soul into the words that you use, when there is intent behind the ideas that you're proposing, being persistent and following up, it's just not as scary, right? Because it's a good idea, right? And if they don't want to take you up on it, that's their loss. I think a lot of times when we don't hear back from a brand that we pitched, it's not because we suck, right? It's not because our pitch sucked. It's because they're busy. Aren't you busy? I'm busy. So are they, right? So just give them some grace and don't instantly turn inward when you don't hear back. Okay? You just have to hit them again next week. And how about easy to execute? Well, duh, you told them exactly what you do for them. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but what if they don't want to do the exact thing that I'm pitching? Well, I can almost guarantee you that that's going to happen. They'll say, wow, this is a really cool idea. We're not really activating on that platform right now, but how about this instead? Right? Can you make a post on this other platform instead? That's a priority for us right now. So the point is that you gave them something tangible that they could react to. So yes, this is easy to execute. Okay? And for those of you saying like, this seems like so much work, right? I already feel like I'm on a content hamster wheel trying to appease the social media algorithm gods. I don't have time for this. Well, 2009, Justin, would have said the same thing because I had to send 100 of these crappy pitches to get 1 or 2 responses. This was the spray and pray approach, right? Contrast that with 2022, Justin, where if I put the time to do research on a brand, I'm talking 15, 20 minutes max per pitch, I will receive a response more than 50% of the time. Let me say that again. I will receive a response more than 50% of the time. I'm not making this up. I know that seems insane. I'm not making it up. Here's some proof. Molly says, since I started the rope method, my success rate in pitching has skyrocketed, and brands are offering to pay me way more money than they were before. So, what do you think is the big takeaway here? Why are brands willing to pay Molly more when she uses the rope pitching method? Well, it's because it's not about you. What do I mean by that? See, this is the challenge that every brand is faced with. Their entire business fails if they cannot figure out creative ways to access their ideal consumers. They have to cross this giant chasm every single day. How is the brand going to do it? Well, they could try to jump across and risk plummeting to their death, or they could choose the safer option, which is you, because you are the bridge. Let me say that again. You are the bridge. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably painstakingly built this bridge with your bare hands over many years, right? Publishing over and over, commenting, replying. And so are you going to let any random brand cross over your bridge? No. And you're most certainly not going to let them cross over your bridge for free. No, they got to pay you for that privilege. And by the way, it's not just the bridge that you're charging for. It's this, that big old brain of yours. Because when you craft a pitch that is rooted in research, a deep understanding of what makes your audience tick, and you're illustrating how you can help them accomplish their marketing objectives, they will instantly think, wow, this is not just another creator. And in fact, you're not just a creator. You're a consultant. Actually, you're a production company in a box, y'all. You're the creative team. You're the camera crew. You edit the content. You distribute the content. You market the content. And if the brand doesn't hire you, right, they have to go out there and hire a production company, actors and actresses to star in the content. They have to hire someone to edit the content. And then when they finish the content, they got to pay Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to run the dang ad. So the next time that you're feeling imposter syndrome, nervously hovering over that send button, remember that you have the power. Because the point of a pitch is not to get the deal. Huh? Let me say that again. The point of a pitch is not to get the deal. I have done literally thousands of sponsorships at this point. So I'm going to give you a little peek behind the scenes of how paid influencer campaigns actually come together. Okay. When you sent your random pitch on May 4th, let's say, and the brand says, I'm sorry, we're not working with creators on any paid campaigns right now. Hey, drop it in the chat. Has ever happened to you? You reach out to a brand, you DM them, they say, oh, sorry, we're not recruiting any, don't have any budget to work with influencers on paid campaigns right now. Drop it in the chat. Anyone? Let me know. What they didn't tell you was that they just finished recruitment for their summer campaign a few days ago. Well, that sucks, right? And see, this is where most creators give up. They think, oh man, the brand hates me. I suck. My pitch sucked. When in reality, there was no way that you could have known that they had just finalized the creators for their next campaign. But we absolutely cannot stop here, because what happens? On May 26th, the brand is going to have their next budget meeting. where they try to finalize all their plans and allocate how much money each different department gets. At that meeting, the executive team is going to ask the head of marketing, hey, how much money are you allocating to our TikTok strategy for the summer campaign? The marketing team is going to look at each other like, oh, crap, we don't have a TikTok strategy, right? And realize that in order to appease their executive team, they need to reassess their strategy, right? And then, boom, here you come, parachuting into their inbox on June 10th with an amazing article from Adweek, which with case studies of how other brands are killing it with short form video content. You say, hey, thought you might find this interesting. So then that article circulates amongst the marketing team, and they're like, well, we got to call a meeting with our internal team to talk about this article that Justin sent us. You know, we got to get our act together on TikTok. Right? And then boom, July 17th, you hit them again with an organic piece of content on your platform with a little, keyword little, shout out to their brand or product. Hey, thought your team would enjoy this. Little Easter egg, right? August 14th, the brand's going to have an all hands marketing meeting where they talk about the results and the learnings from the summer campaigns. Ooh, nice. I bet you know what's coming next, right? You know what's coming next, right? Boom, September 1st. Now you pitch them again with a slightly revised version of your initial pitch. And they're going to say, thank you so much. This is really helpful. We'll definitely be in touch. Oh, man. Then silence until September 20th, when they finally get the green light from their CFO to increase their budget to include TikTok on their fall marketing campaign. And surprise, surprise, who do you think they're going to reach out to? They're going to reach out to this creator that gave up way back here, right? No, they're not going to reach out to that person. They're going to reach out to you because you were at the forefront of their minds for the last 4 months providing value. Right? So what I hope you see by now is that when a brand ghosts you or a brand says no, it's not no. It's not yet. And the point of a pitch is not just to get the deal. The pitch is step 1 of the wheel. One final story from a creator named Caitlin about the power of investing in your knowledge and the impact that it can have on your business.
I decided to quit my job back in January of 2021 to be a full-time beauty content creator. I literally had no idea what I was doing. I was severely undercharging. I was not even reading through contracts. But with the help of Creator Wizard Justin, I now know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to talk to brands. I know how to pitch myself. I know how to negotiate. I know how to carefully read through contracts. I was making around $1,400 to $2,000 a month. Within 2 weeks, I signed over $30,000 worth of contracts. And now I am making anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a month. I now know what I'm doing as a full-time beauty content creator, and you have literally changed my life.
Now, I want to give a small caveat that Caitlin, she has 1 million followers on TikTok. And I'm sure you're thinking, okay, yeah, if I had 1 million followers, I could probably make a lot of money too. But extrapolate this example for your own creator business. If you could 2, 3, 4, 5x what you're making right now at your current following with your current content, that would be hugely impactful, right? So I would love for you all to take the next step, which is the 14-day brand deal challenge. So I've teamed up with Think Media to create a completely free training with daily emails for 14 days teaching you how to get your next or first brand deal. You just need to go to thinkbranddeals.com. That's thinkbranddeals.com to sign up today. So I would love to take some questions. This is like one of my favorite parts. And it was a blast being here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Justin. I was taking notes, and there's one thing that I loved that you talked about, and that was that, and I always say this to our team, the fortune is in the follow-up. It's not usually in the first pitch. It's always in the follow-up. And if there's one thing I hope that people got from today's session, it's that one, you've got to be strategic, but two, it is about that persistence and the consistency that you're doing. So thank you so much for bringing that. We do have some questions that came in. But before we get to those, Justin, where can people find you if they want to work with you on a deeper level? Obviously go to thinkbranddeals.com, but you're over here crushing it on YouTube as well, right?
I am. Yeah. My YouTube channel, it's called Creator Wizard. And this is literally the only thing I talk about. I only talk about sponsorships and brand deals. Talk about a niche. I know you guys talk about that a lot, right? It's like when I really dialed into this thing that really is my expertise in my wheelhouse, I'm just kind of having so much fun about it. And the beauty of picking a niche is that once I actually be like, you know what, all I'm going to talk about is sponsorship, I now can think of like 1,000 videos just about this subject because I literally will never get tired of talking about it. And what I hope you saw from my presentation in this talk was that there's a lot of subtlety and a lot of intricacy that goes into the actual process of working with brands, not just the execution of the deal when you actually sign on the dotted line, but prior to that, right? Like what's actually happening in advance before they actually reach out. There's so much that happens behind the scenes. And so, yeah, just Creator Wizard. I'm pretty much at Creator Wizard everywhere on social media. And yeah, I would love for you to join the 14-day brand deal challenge. It's free, guys. Come on. 14-day daily emails for you. I guarantee you by the end of this thing, you're going to be so hyped.
Yes, I have our entire marketing team going through it also because lifelong leaders are lifelong learners, and I love to learn from experts just like you. So we did have some questions that came in, and I think this one is definitely relevant because, we cannot say that quote unquote, this is easy, especially when it comes to the emotions that come with valuing yourself and presenting yourself to a brand. Don Remmel, he is one of our Inner Circle students. And his question is, how do you work through having doubt of your value to a brand and underselling your position? For example, requesting only products and not money. And I know that this is a huge struggle for a lot of creators because one, this is actually still an emerging industry, like you were sharing, but also no one teaches us how much we should charge or what is our value. And so how do you even assess that? And I know you go deeper into that inside of what you offer, but tell us just a little bit about the doubts that come with it and how you can assess your value.
Yeah, Dawn, it's a really great question and one that I get a lot. It's very common. And so first and foremost is to not be too hard on yourself. I think that's like Heather was mentioning, it really is. A lot of us are shooting blind. When my wife and I first got into this industry in 2009, that was when we first started our first channel, if you can believe it. Like I mentioned, we had no idea what we were doing. It was the Wild West. We made every mistake in the book. We did deals without signing contracts. We, gave away broadcast TV. Like one time we turned on the TV and saw a brand was like running an ad on TV, a commercial with footage from my wife's YouTube channel. And we were just like, we went back and looked at the contract and like, sure enough, yep, we signed away those rights without even getting compensated for it. Right. So we literally have made every mistake in the book. So first and foremost, like, don't be too hard on yourself. Like we are all learning. Even today I'm learning, every day. I'm trying to like break into TikTok right now, almost just over 6,000 followers. Right. So we're all trying to reinvent ourselves, right, with these new content formats and things like that too. And so my biggest piece of advice about, how to understand how to value yourself is that understand that it's not always about your numbers. I think that that's what a lot of creators are fixated on because that's where their mindset is all day long. It's like growing their channel, growing their following, growing their viewership, their engagement, and so on. But the biggest mindset unlock there and shift is that a lot of brands don't care at all about your numbers, right? Because that's not the value that they see from you, right? So for example, if there is, I don't know, Don, if you can let me know in the chat what your niche is, but like there are so many brands who actually look to creators for their own expertise about content creation and how to succeed on social media. So instead of your pitch when you reach out to them, Don, being like, hey, I'm going to talk about you on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do an integrated video and an amplification on, social media or whatever. Like that's the majority of like 99.9% of creators, that's their pitch, right? Well, like, wouldn't it be interesting if your pitch to them was, hey, like, I absolutely love your brand. I noticed that you don't have an active presence on your YouTube channel. I would love to create a series for you. Let's just say you're like a RV, like outdoor influencer creator on YouTube, right? You could say, let's say you're pitching REI or some outdoor company or camping equipment or something. I would love to create a series on your YouTube channel where it's me and a bunch of other outdoor creators, RV life creators, van life creators, sitting around and talking about life and what it's like being, on the road and raising a family and all that stuff. Yeah, we got all this REI gear around us, but it's not like we're plugging the product. We're sitting around a campfire. I'm bringing other people on the show. I will produce that show for you. It will live on your channel. We can turn it into a podcast. Yes, it's going to be $5,000 a month, but that is my proposal. Do you see how fundamentally different of a proposal and a pitch that is? Right. And so oftentimes understanding your value and worth it's so like dependent upon the particular brand that you're pitching. That's why it's so difficult for me to be like, this is your value, Don. Right. I don't know your channel. I don't know your page. But what I hope everyone hears today is that your value is different to every brand, which is why you need to be charging different rates to every brand. Right. So that's the kind of the succinct answer to that. But I hope that helps.
Yeah. And I want to just add a little bit to that, Justin, because coming from my background was in marketing first. And so coming from a space where I saw that there are a lot of dollars and available to be used in marketing ways. When it comes to actually like, how much do I quote unquote charge? Here's what I say. Name your number where it makes sense for you to spend time doing it. And then add 10% out of fear. Why? Because there's always negotiation in numbers. If someone comes back to you and they're like, sorry, that's way out of our budget, and you've given them a full proposal, then you can actually come back and say, great, well, what out of that would you like to see? And let's negotiate that. Maybe they're like, I actually don't want YouTube videos and TikTok. All I want is one YouTube video. And then you can negotiate from there. But I always say, add 10% out of fear, because what's surprising is that some brands will come back and say, great. And you're like, shoot, I could have done 20% out of fear, right? And you can always negotiate you can always negotiate down from a higher number. But it's hard it's hard to start at a number and then go increase. It's much easier to start at a number and then decrease. And I've known that to be my experience.
Heather, I would probably take it a step further and be like, add 100% to your rate. Like, I think that as creators, like we're so fearful of here's the thing. I think like saying the first number, that's the biggest thing. Is like, oh, I wish I could just like a lot of obviously, first and foremost, you should ask the brand their budget. What is your budget? Right. Because a lot of brands will tell you, right. And you'd be like, wait, really? They're going to tell me how much they're going to pay me. Right. And yeah. And the reason is that this campaign has to go live in 10 days. We can pay you $2,000. Can you turn this around? Right. Like a lot of times that's really the way it is. Right. It's time sensitive. But again, what I have found over the years, like coaching hundreds of creators, is that like the vast majority of creators are way undercharging, not just 10%, more like 100, 200, 500% what they actually should be. Because, we can go, I want to answer some more questions, but like, yeah, this is a very critical concept. You just have to kind of shoot your shot sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to this one here. And then we're going to jump into hot seats inside of our inner circle. So if you are not a part of our inner circle already, we do a monthly membership program here at Think Media. You can go to thinkinnercircle.com to get more information. We actually do an extensive Q&A and hot seats, which we will do after we answer this question, which is, how many subscribers? I know you touched on this, and this is always a question that we get here at Think Media. How many subscribers do you need in order to do X? And I'd love for you to just explain this from your vantage point as someone who is working with brands, and how you said before, numbers don't really matter, but actually there are some numbers that do matter.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And so I have a video on my YouTube channel called How to Get Sponsorships with 0 Subscribers, because I wanted to make a very hyperbolic video because to really like hammer home this point that your subscribership is completely irrelevant. Yes, there are some brands out there who are like, oh, you have to have at least 10,000 subscribers to work with us. Like, yeah, that's not going to be your tribe. That's not going to be the brand, not going to be your ideal brand partner. Because going back to this whole idea around understanding the goal of the campaign, it's so critical because at that point, let's for example say that you pitch a brand, right, or a brand reaches out to you, and you ask them, what would success look like for this campaign? That is the number one question that I advise all creators that I coach to be asking at the very outset of a conversation. Okay, because when they come back to you and they say, oh, well, success to us is we actually just love the way like your presence on video, and we would love to just get a bunch of content from you that we can repurpose. We can put it on our website. We can use it on our social media platforms. We can use it for paid advertising, right? That's what they find. That's what they see success as, right? So then your pitch to them should not be, oh, I'm going to do an integration on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do, posts on my Instagram and make you some real. No, they don't care. They just told you they don't care, right? And so at that point, it does not matter how many subscribers you have at all, because and the other reason that that's awesome is that your rate is now detached from your following. It's detached from your subscribers, right? And so it's this mindset shift is so critical because, again, it's not about your subscribership. It's about understanding how you can help the brand win. How can you help them win separate from your own channel, your own presence? Because there is so much value in, your presence on camera, utilizing your name and likeness in advertising. Again, there's so many other ways in which you can provide value to brands that have nothing to do with your subscribership.
So good. Well, Justin, thank you so much for helping us with that. We're going to jump into our Inner Circle hot seat and Q&A. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can go to thinkinnercircle.com. You can jump into what we are doing over here at Think Media, and we are going to head right over to that right now. So we will see you over there in just a second.